Alan from Alpus Group, and I'm going to talk to you today about a 7-step process for property development. The first step in the 7-step process is mindset. You need to basically get in the right mindset for making your property journey and acquiring property. This is for revenue generation and wealth creation. So essentially, if you haven't got the education and you haven't got the knowledge at the moment, you would need to invest in yourself, seek mentors to actually guide you, people who've actually got to where you want to go, and become the best version of yourself so that you can actually achieve the sort of things that your mentors have done. So what we're looking to do is to acquire property using other people's money wherever possible. So we're looking to attract investors, and we're looking to create wealth by acquiring property and using this as a vehicle to generate money. So this is generate cash flow, rental income from these properties using one of a number of strategies, the highest cash flowing strategies being serviced accommodation or co-living, houses and multiple occupation. Personally, I'm not into houses and multiple occupation. A lot of people are. So you can choose what strategy you want, but the first thing is you've got to get into the right mindset. So secondly, you need to have a vision of what you want to achieve, because you're the driving force behind your business, and you need to start out on a journey, and you need to have goals so you know where you're going. There's no point in setting out on a journey without having a destination in mind. So you need to set out your vision of what you want to achieve, whether this is number of properties or amount of money or turnover or profit, whatever your goals are. You need to set them down in your vision, and you need to commit to achieving those goals. So we've talked about the right mindset. We then need the right vision so that we can see what it is we're trying to achieve. Thirdly, we want to look at values. So we need to decide on what the values of our company are going to be, and how we are perceived by other people, how we relate to other people in our business transactions. Just what sort of company are we? Are we an aggressive, hard-nosed developer type of company, or are we a company that works in partnership with others? Are we a collaborative company? So only you can decide the sort of values that you have for your company, because that's essentially it. It's your company, your vision. Then we need to start to look at some specific targets about how we're going to achieve the goals that we've set out to achieve. So we need to look at finding the right deals. So we've decided on certain goals. We need to decide on the strategy that will help us to achieve those goals. Now, it might not only be one strategy, it might be a number of different strategies. It might be holiday let, serviced accommodation. In your case, it might be HMOs. Not that I would favour that in my case, but essentially we need to find the right deals and find the right sites. So in my case, I'm looking for commercial conversion projects. That's commercial to residential, up to 20 units, so 5 to 20 units. And that's one of the strategies that I'm following. I'm also looking for hotels with the potential for development. So this is guest houses or hotels with C1 use. We would keep the C1 use, and we would look to make them more efficient, make them into apart hotels, so make them more automated. We may well convert the public areas into letting accommodation, possibly extend the current accommodation and give further letting accommodation, so we've got a higher area of letting rooms and higher rental income. So that's my strategy, as well as holiday lets and serviced accommodation. I'm also looking for plots of land with or without planning permission. So these are my aspirations. You may not have development of land in your strategy for development. So I'm looking for sites of this type at the moment. Once I get sites, I appraise them, and essentially I see whether the gross development value of the developed site, the converted site, or the higher value that you transform it into, whether the gross development is justified by the price of the site. If it is feasible, or if it's possible to negotiate an acceptable price, then I'll try and negotiate a price for a site. But essentially there's an appraisal phase for all the sites that you find, because not all the sites are going to work. Some vendors want too much money, and they may be in the wrong location for the particular strategy that you're looking to do. So particularly with serviced accommodation, this is very location sensitive, and you need to get properties in the right area for what you're trying to do. The fifth part of our 7-step strategy is the planning permission. Now, I choose commercial conversions because ideally I would use permitted development rights to carry out the conversion. This is a sort of predetermined planning approval, and the local authority has to confirm that the prior approval for permitted development would apply on the particular site. So there's a 56-day period during which the local authority must confirm or not whether the site has prior approval for permitted development. And once you've got that confirmation, then you're fine to go. You can usually refinance the site based on the higher residential value and actually take some money out of what you may have acquired a site on bridging finance, for example. So the next step after the planning permission, if you haven't got permitted development rights, you need to seek planning permission, and each site has its own peculiarities about what's required, but essentially you've got to conform to the local authority plan in the area in which you're developing, and there will be certain requirements that you're obliged to conform to. You may well be the subject of community infrastructure levy, which means that you contribute towards the infrastructure for the area you're developing in, and also Section 106, which is a sort of tax on planning gain. So essentially there's two taxes there you may have to pay. Sometimes SIL is defined in the local authority planning department website, and you can look it up there what the SIL contribution is likely to be. So the next stage is design and construction. You may have already started design at an earlier stage in connection with planning permission, but in addition to planning permission, outline and detailed, you've got to get building control approval for your development. So this means carrying out detailed drawings by an architect. Maybe it would involve some structural drawings, some mechanical, electrical, plumbing drawings. So essentially all the detailed drawings have got to be submitted to the Building Control Office for building regulations approval. And this is quite an important stage, because you must have drawings for which for your contractor to construct to. So the design is essential, the detailed design for construction. And then the construction phase itself depends on what is involved as regards how quick it can proceed, but usually it proceeds pretty quickly once all the design is done and all the unknowns are actually defined in terms of drawings and specifications. And then the exit from the project. How are you going to dispose of the assets that you've created? So if you've converted from commercial to residential assets, are you going to sell these, or are you going to sell some of them and refinance some and keep them? You need to decide. So essentially that's the final step of the 7-step strategy for property development, and I'll talk in more detail about that in future videos. If you're interested in developing property, or if you've got property for sale, then contact me. That's Alan at Alpus Group on 07539141257 or 033322411257. You can schedule a call with me at calendly.com/AlanJE, or you can drop me an email at alan@alpusgroup.com. Cheers for now.